Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Dating Made Simple on the It's Just Dinner Podcast. I'm your host, Tom Robinson, and sitting diagonal across from me, my co-host, Sophia.
Oh, that would be me.
That's you. Welcome.
Hello. Thank you.
Why
It's
did
good to
she
be
get
here.
the title of
And then
co-host?
right across from Sophia is Macy.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm not the co-host.
And
but...
then, if I may introduce my tag team partner, Bob Walls.
Hi, Tom. How are you? It's
There
great
you
to be
go.
here.
Nice to
What a
have you
delightful
here.
evening it is.
It is, and we have two young women with us. That's
Yes,
awesome.
I think you introduced them
Got
quite
them-
finely here.
Yeah, and they're my new co-hosts.
Yes, they are. It's great to have. We're kind of co-hosts here.
co-host.
You're the main man, and then the three of us we're just
you're the-
backup singers.
There you
Yeah,
go.
assistant
As
to the
it
co-host.
should be.
I'm good with being a backup singer. I've always wanted to be a
Yeah, me
backup
too.
dancer. How about a backup dancer?
Okay, go ahead. We can do
We
that
can be the
because
backup
we're on.
dancers.
Apparently, we're on YouTube. So go ahead and. Do you want to start dancing now?
Yeah,
or-
yeah. Everyone to go watch the
you
video of
wanna
this.
see
You'll
Macy
me
dance?
pull out some moves here.
Looking forward to
Oh,
that.
No, just not the camera.
Well, I'm excited about this episode.
I am
today
so
because
excited
it-
about this
it's,
episode today.
A lot of people have been asking about this, wanting us to do another one of these. So we are going to do bad date stories.
Oh, there's nothing better
Yes.
than a bad date story.
Part 4.
Part 4.
Part
We've done
4.
3 of these before.
We have. This is
Wow.
part 4.
It's great.
So you guys ready for this?
I'm so ready. Bad
Sophia,
date
are you
stories
ready
are
for this?
Mhm.
I'm
The
so ready. I was
best.
born ready.
Yeah.
All right. So this is the deal. I will read off 3 titles, and then I will let you guys pick one, and then I'll read it, and then I'll let you guys comment on it about what's going on. What do you think? That'll work?
Okay,
think
so let me
that's
understand
perfect.
the premise of this. You're going to give the titles of 3 bad date stories, and then the 3 of us collectively are going to select one of those that you're going to read,
Correct.
and then we will comment on it.
Correct.
These are like the stories that you always ask when you're like at a cabin or like
Yes.
So
getting to know someone. You're
true.
like, so you got any bad date stories? Like,
Yeah,
I need to ask
Yeah.
more.
and
every
everybody
time I ask, I'm
everybody
never
has
disappointed.
one at least.
Yeah.
You know.
I get these
do.
on email, and so it's when I read them off.
All
All
right.
right,
Do
so
you
you
need to
ready?
Go to
Okay,
cabin
I'm
and
ready.
just-
Tom
Ready
just
for the first
at his
3?
laptop and like laughing at night
Yeah.
as he reads them.
All right, so the first one is the soda debate.
Oh,
The soda debate.
Yeah.
This
Guess
must
the
be
The
headline.
second one
Wow.
is a movie and some popcorn.
Okay.
And then the last one is late night longboarding.
Okay,
So
so,
which
so
one do you want to
late
go
night
first?
longboarding sounds scary.
yeah. It
to
sounds
me.
Yeah.
like an ER trip to me.
I know.
Yeah.
So
Let's
that-
go with late night longboarding. We
Yeah,
okay with
let's
that?
do it,
longboarding.
let's do it.
All right,
Yeah.
so here we
Let's-
go.
Let's go then.
So last year, my freshman year in college, my best friend and I got asked on a double date by these guys who saw us at a football game. We had no idea what we were going to do on this date until they picked us up and announced that we were going to go longboarding down Provo Canyon. And keep in mind, it was dark outside. My friend and I were mortified. And not the least of important was the fact that we were terrible at longboarding.
Mm.
I ended up being in a group date, and the other girls that were there were experienced longboarders.
Mm.
First red flags.
It's getting
I
worse.
feel like,
Yeah. We were literally riding down Provo Canyon on the sidewalk, flying down hills in the pitch black, and I would not recommend trying to ride a longboard while holding your phone flashlight in your hand.
Oh gosh.
Oh.
Okay. It was truly foul. My friend ended up riding down the canyon all by herself on her butt.
Oh no.
When we finally got down to the bottom of the canyon, my friend and I were so relieved that we survived. But we celebrated too soon because the rest of the group decided they wanted to go and ride down again.
Mm.
Oh.
We said we didn't want to, and we all got voted out, and we had to ride down the canyon a second time.
Mm.
No.
What?
Mm.
It truly was a horrible experience, and it gets even worse. On the car ride home, they made us listen to Old Town Road by Little Nas X on repeat
Oh.
because they said it was their favorite song.
Mm.
We haven't talked to them since.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Oh. Provo Canyon, you know where it was, and they've paved that so that it's a very
Yeah.
long, steep, and you get going really fast, and it's really dangerous. There have been a lot of people who have been seriously injured doing that. I mean, a very hazardous, risky thing to do.
Here's where the boys went wrong. A lot of things. They did a lot of things wrong. First off, they did not ask their dates what they wanted. They're like,
Right.
hey, we're gonna go do this right now. Are you guys okay with that?
Yeah.
Like, do you guys know how to
Right.
longboard? Because I would hate that.
I
Mhm.
feel like they didn't even ask. They probably were just like, we're gonna longboard.
Exactly.
And like, what if they wore like, I don't know, no one would wear heels probably unsolicited, but like
Or to
If
a
they wore,
football
like-
game. They met him at a football game.
Or like
so
flip flops. Like you gotta tell. Like
Yeah.
dress code is such a big deal. I feel like guys don't think about that, but girls think about that. Like if you
Oh,
wear a
totally.
shirt that's gonna like come up or something, if you're like long, but I don't know. That's
Mhm.
just not polite.
Not a good date.
Etiquette lady. What was her name? I forget.
Candlin.
Candlin.
Candlin. Go listen to that one.
Yeah.
Number 1, you gotta tell her what you're wearing, and then
right.
yeah. Also, yeah. I don't know how to longboard.
Well, and this goes
Like,
back to what
want to.
Candlin said too about caring about the other person.
Yeah.
And they clearly did not care about these young women.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Because after they went down once, they were like, "Oh, we don't want to
Hey.
go." And if they were on a good date, they would have been like, "Okay, you're right. You don't know what you're doing. That was scary for you. Let's go do something else."
Right.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That was
Or we take you home, or you can wait here and have hot chocolate or something
Yeah.
while we do this. Yeah.
that was just inconsiderate.
Not a good
Yeah.
date.
Inconsiderate, yes.
All right.
And dangerous.
Okay.
Okay.
Should we try another one?
So have we got 3
Let's.
more?
3 more. Well, we've still got the soda debate, a movie and some popcorn, and pickleball tragedy.
Pickleball tragedy.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I say. It's
Oh.
got the word tragedy in it.
Yep, exactly.
so
Good
you-
title. The other
Yeah.
two are just the
Yeah,
titles
there's
are
blah,
not, as-
blah,
not
blah.
appealing.
Not
Yeah.
feeling the other ones. All right. This story is sad and hilarious.
Oh.
Is that how it starts, or is that?
Yeah.
You're characterizing it.
This guy asked me out to play pickleball, and it was clear while we were warming up that he was very good at this game.
hmm
And
Oh,
it was
no.
only my second time.
Mhm.
So we started a game, and on the first serve, he dislocated his shoulder,
No, what?
No.
and he was in a lot of pain. And I ended up having to take him to the emergency room.
Oh.
And I had to stay with him the whole time because there was no one else there to be with him.
Mm.
That's so sad.
Oh, his friends.
Or
The
his-
doctors
yeah.
kept trying to get information from me because they thought that I was his wife.
Mm.
The whole time I'm like, hey, I just met this guy. I don't know anything about him.
Oh my
About 4 hours later, I ended up driving him home.
Mm.
God.
I
4
felt really
hours.
sorry for him, but we never went out again.
Oh, that sucks.
Well, I
does
think that's
suck.
an unfortunate thing. I don't know if this classifies as a bad date.
Mhm.
And I kind of think that if you were in this situation, what else could you do other than what she did is
Nothing.
to take him to the hospital and
Yeah.
care for him? I
She
mean,
That's
did say
fair.
she did say it was
Mhm.
sad and hilarious. So
I mean, honestly, it was getting set up to be a bad date when she said he was really good and
Yeah.
I was my
Yeah.
second time, because those guys, oh, it's actually
Yeah.
the worst when you
It
play
is
with
the
them, because
worst.
they're
Yeah.
just like,
and,
oh, what do you suck? Like,
and you
not they
know
don't
he was
say
trying
that,
to show
but-
off too, and he
Yeah.
well,
hit
but
that
it
ball
didn't
the first
happen,
time,
but,
so-
you know, in that aspect of it. But I think it was just an unfortunate event.
Yeah.
I think it
date.
would have been mediocre at best though, because like Macy was saying, I fully support you doing something that you're good at, because it's cool to see people do things that they're good at and it's good to be impressed. But if they're like your opponent and you're good at it, that's not fun.
All right, let's try another one. Okay, a movie and some popcorn.
What's
Doesn't
with you?
ha-
What's with you
The
in this
soda
one?
debate. We're going to keep selling these so you buy them.
Okay.
And then got set up with the angry guy.
Okay, so now you got the word angry,
I know,
and that one. The
so-
other you have debate, and the other one you just have movie and popcorn. So there's nothing really bad about
So
those
it
first two. So
could
we're
be
never going to
something-
buy
Well,
those.
could be something hidden. I'm going to tell you right now, I've read them, and you do not want to pass on a movie and some popcorn.
Okay, let's
But
do movie and the
I'm not
popcorn.
gonna-
Let's just get it out of the way.
Fine. we'll do
It better
that
be
one.
good though.
All right, here we
Yeah.
go. All right. I got matched up with this guy through a dating app. He asked me out and recommended that we go to a movie. Not the best first date, but well, okay. We met at the theater. That's good that she met him
Mhm,
there.
Yeah,
I like that. And he bought the tickets.
yeah.
He seemed normal, and it was all going well until he walked over to the trash can and proceeded to pull out a used popcorn bucket.
From the trash can.
Then he went into the bathroom and rinsed it out, and then he went and got filled up a free refill of the popcorn.
Oh,
No.
And she says, "So nasty." I said,
Oh.
"I understand dating on a budget, but just if you don't want to buy popcorn, don't buy it.
Yeah.
It's much better than rooting around in the trash can." I, of course, didn't eat any of the popcorn, and I did not ever go out with him again.
Oh wow.
Yikes.
That's
Oh,
bull.
Okay, yeah, that does classify as a really bad
See,
date,
I
doesn't
told
it?
you didn't want to pass on
that's
that one.
disgusting.
Yeah.
That's really gross. I'm
But
a
see,
germaphobe, and that would be like,
I think that tells you a lot about a person, doesn't it? I guess maybe somewhere in his life that was acceptable to do that because you were
Where?
saving money.
how is that acceptable to
Uh,
anybody
well,
that
you
you
know,
cannot? Like, what?
But when you're living under the viaduct, you do a lot of things, to
Well, I think it's something that we just have to learn, that the guys just, you can't do stuff like that.
Okay,
think
so
we just
Especially
need to
not on a
educate
first
the
okay,
young
rule
men.
number 1 on a first date: do not eat out of the garbage can. Is
Yeah.
that fair, ladies?
That
Is
should be rule number 1. Yes,
Or-
for sure.
Or how
Uh,
about don't go to see the guy's frozen dog?
Well,
What?
that's another
Yeah,
bad
I mean,
dating
so-
story. Well, you know,
I-
don't take the girl to the funeral of your dead dog.
frozen
That was a bad
Oh.
date. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Why did they do that?
Oh.
What's wrong with people?
Well, it's that's
That's-
not as bad. The garbage can thing kind of comes close because that's pretty gross, you know.
Yeah,
To
That's
so
gross.
anyway, you're right,
Yeah.
Tom. I have to say you were right
right.
that even though the headline was really bad,
Okay.
that story was actually pretty good for
Yeah.
a bad date.
Yeah, I would
All
agree
right.
She's
with
got
that.
a
Alright.
good story.
Let's
so-
try again here. So we got the soda debate. We've got set up with the angry guy, and we've got backseat gross out.
Well, see, the last two are the best ones, but he's just going to keep throwing this one
He
at
is.
us
He
at
really
the beginning.
is.
So let's just get it out of the way and let him have his thing. So, gee, Tom, I would like to
Soda debate.
I'd like to hear about the soda
All
debate.
right. All right, here we go. Sadly, my dating story started on a dating app. I matched up with this kid, and we had some small talk over the app. Where are you from? Where are you going to school? Those kind of things. Then I decided to give him my number, and we started to talk on text.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
Not bad yet. Nothing
Then he
bad yet.
asked me if I wanted to go on a date, and what do you want to do?
That's a
Which is
great
the
flag.
first red flag. See, you
Oh,
guys just
what?
said that.
Yeah.
You don't want to
Yeah.
ask what they want to do?
Well, you should. This is what she said. I'm just reading the paper.
Oh,
Oh, I was like, I thought
You
that
should
was a
always
good thing.
have.
Yeah, I thought
You
so
should
too.
always have an idea in mind.
Oh,
and then
okay.
throw
That's
that out to
fair.
her.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You don't want to be tossed out with the, well, what do you want to do on our-
Okay,
on our
that's-
date?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Right.
good. That's
So
good.
she
Just at least
says
don't
first
take them
red
without
flag.
asking.
I believe if you ask someone on a date, you should have a plan, at least some
Mm,
options.
there we go.
So there she
Fair.
goes.
Yep. Okay.
So we ultimately decided to go get a soda and then go on a walk. We started talking about where we were going to go get a soda, and I said my favorite place was Swig, and he said his favorite place was Fizz. So I made a suggestion that why don't we go to Fizz and get your favorite drink, and then we go to Swig and get mine. He thought that was a good idea. So he
I do
comes
too.
in, he picks
Yeah,
me
it's
up.
good. It's good.
And our way to Swig, he asked me what my favorite drink is. And I said Raspberry Dream, which is Dr. Pepper, coconut cream, and raspberry puree.
Good. It's good.
Yeah. He just thought that was terrible. He said, creamy soda? Bleh.
Okay.
I
How
thought
did
that
she
was
sp- how
kind
did
of
she spell
rude.
that?
But I eventually ended up dropping the subject. I tried to ask him a question about himself, but every question that he answered was with, I can't believe you like creamy soda. So I started to get a little bugged. We finally got to the Swig, and I got to order my soda, and I ordered my favorite soda, and he went, bleh.
What?
Okay.
Insert throw up noise here.
I finally said, fine, I will get my drink, and you don't have to try it. And to that, he said, no way, I will not be buying someone a creamy soda. And he ordered me something I did not want.
No.
At some
No.
point in the conversation, he asked me if I was dropped on my head as a child because I liked creamy soda.
What?
Wow.
We didn't even
Wow.
go to Fizz, and we didn't even go on a walk. We just sat in the parked car, and he made fun of my creamy soda.
What?
That she didn't even
And that's
get.
where the date ended.
Thank goodness.
Oh
Thank
my
that it
goodness.
ended.
Well, good thing that she didn't have to go on another date, and they found that out quickly.
Yeah.
I
Over
guess.
creamy soda. I'm like, if you're gonna like not take someone out because of creamy soda, yeah, you
That's-
ain't the one.
Yeah.
Let me just say, if someone says they like something and your response is bleh, that is a terrible response
yeah.
to something that someone else likes.
Well, this was not a normal young man. This was someone who has some serious emotional trauma here because a normal person doesn't react that way to something as simple as this. I mean, so clearly there's some bigger problems here with this guy than that. She dodged a bullet here by only having to spend a short amount of time with this guy because could you imagine anything that you could have done that he didn't agree with, he was going to denigrate it.
Yeah.
And
make
gonna make a throw-up sound.
Yeah.
Well, but what he was expressing his displeasure with her choices on something as simple as what kind of soda. Thank goodness that she was able to see that red flag right at the beginning.
Mom's giving
True.
benefit of the doubt. Something's totally wrong with him in the head.
Yes.
Well,
Just-
he's
I
got,
will say a lot of guys tried to do the what is it like where they teasing flirting.
yeah.
And I can see like originally like the first time he made the joke how he could have been trying. It's like Tom said, it's not nice to make fun of something that somebody likes. But if you truly really think that creamy soda is disgusting. You're like, really? I don't think it is, but I'd be willing to try yours. And you want to make fun of them a little bit. But don't beat a dead horse. Like if you make
Right,
that joke one
right.
time and she's
It
not
did-
laughing,
yeah.
don't keep making
Don't
the
keep
same
going
joke.
back to it.
Not like, pay, like open your eyes.
Yeah.
Well, see, this is where the mental disorder comes in because how could you not get that from?
Gosh.
How could you be so dense that when the first time that came across that you thought, well, maybe I'll try it again. I'll make the throw up sound again because it worked so well the first time.
I just hope that one day he goes on a date and some girl brings up that she hates creamy soda and then they'll just get married on the spot.
There
Probably,
you
I
go.
think,
There you go.
so.
Yes,
There
right.
you go. Yeah,
I
they can actually agree over the fact that they
Yeah.
hate it.
Well, you know what it'll
Yeah.
be?
Why did you marry each other?
He'll say,
Well, we
you
both
wouldn't
hated
believe the
creamy
girl I
soda."
went out with that drank creamy soda.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate creamy soda. Blah. See, there's somebody for everybody.
Yeah, there is.
I hope so, man. I hope he finds her. Good
Yeah.
luck to him.
Yeah,
Probably
good
not in
luck.
Utah, but
But
yeah.
the other odd thing here is that if he was trying to be flirty, funny, to not buy her the drink
Yeah,
and
that's
buy her
that's just
something
And to
else,
order something
Rude.
for
it
her.
really shows what kind of a partner he would be, where it was his way or the highway.
Yeah.
He did her a favor by showing himself to her.
And
Yes, he
that's
did.
kind of why you look at all these dates and you're like, we learned something from this after
Yes.
this date because obviously they have something that they need to work on here. Or this
Yeah.
guy isn't the one for me. Every date may not be the funnest date, but you learn
Right.
something.
You do.
Right?
You do.
know?
You do. All right, you guys ready here? All right, so got set up with Angry Guy, backseat gross out, or wizard in training.
See,
Ooh.
backseat gross out, because the word gross out means,
Are you gonna pass up wizard in training?
well, but see,
You've
we don't
got to
know
be-
wizard in, look, I'll defer
I
to you
need to
ladies.
know.
Sorry, Sylvie, wizard in training.
I need
Wizard
to
in
know.
training.
Got to know.
Are there wizards
Are
on
you
the
going to
market?
disagree with me over this?
Yeah.
Fine, do your wizard in training.
I have to give me this one. I just gotta
Okay.
know.
All right.
Bob's like, I'm not buying you the wizard in training.
I'm not buying
All right,
the
here we
I'm
go.
going to
training
buy you the
store.
backseat gross out, whether you like it or not.
All right, here we go.
Hey, wizards.
So wizard in training. So one time my cousin wanted to set me up with her husband's cousin.
Oh,
Kind of weird, but she said she
Okay.
would pay me
Mm.
a Diet Coke if I went.
even weirder.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm at this drink spot in Provo waiting for this blind date. He walks up. The guy seemed pretty average at first, but then he starts going on about he's a self-proclaimed wizard in training.
Yes.
Yo, Harry Potter, let's go.
I couldn't
Yes.
tell if he was joking or serious.
Oh, I love it.
He even ordered his coffee with this whole dramatic spiel about being a magic elixir, cinnamon, and 3 sugar patches. It was a bit too much for me.
Okay. The wizard or the coffee? Probably both. It's a lot of cinnamon, so it's hard to know.
Our conversation took a very weird turn when he started talking about these 3 energy orbs he claims to see in the sky,
What?
insisting they were aliens.
Okay.
It felt like he
Bold.
was in the middle of some odd conspiracy theory discussion. At one point, he even mentioned something about how he thinks animals try to communicate with him.
They
The
try.
date was just filled with these stories and were hard to take seriously. It was all a bit too eccentric and offbeat for my taste, but at the end of it, I was pretty certain that another date with this guy wasn't going to be something that I was interested in pursuing.
Hmm.
And I made my cousin buy me 2 Diet Cokes instead of just the one.
Yes, you should have.
Oh my goodness. I feel like, okay, this date, in my personal opinion, would not be my favorite ever. But I think that there is somebody out there for him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What's like a female wizard?
witch?
Sorceress?
Oh, a witch?
Witch,
I don't know.
hopefully.
In Harry Potter world, it's gonna be
Yeah, in
witch,
training,
right?
I guess. I
But-
don't know. He probably doesn't want to be like one-upped. But
So
But
true.
you'd be okay with that? Wizard in training? If he claimed to be a wizard and he was serious?
if I was okay, like if I would enjoy that date, is that what
Yeah.
you're saying? I've gone on some dates with some interesting individuals, and I think that I wouldn't go on another date with them probably, but I will say that I think it's so rare these days that you find people that are that interesting,
Yeah,
whether
yeah,
it's like
yeah.
something you're interested or not. So honestly, I wouldn't make fun of him at all. That's rude, but I would definitely lean into it probably and just start asking about. I would just want to get.
Well,
So-
she
so
probably
you'd go
did.
along
We're-
with the
we're getting the
shtick. You-
shortened version here.
You'd pretend that he was a wizard in training and see where it went.
Yeah,
I'd
yeah.
be like, how do you talk to animals? How
No,
do they
exactly
communicate with
like
you?
I wouldn't like pretend that I like totally believed him because obviously I don't, but and I would just be making fun of them and that's not polite. But
That's not very
just
nice.
just asking them about like when they got into this and like how would
Mhm.
like they get their information because
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm curious now, like I want to
You're
talk to
feeding
this
the
guy.
beast.
Yeah, well, Yeah, and then I'd be like, well, that's so interesting. I'm not particularly, wizarding is not my type, but this has been so fun, and I learned so much. Because you
Mhm.
can either sit there and shut down and like not be interested in what they're talking about, or you can learn
And
some interesting
fortunately,
things.
Just go with
she
it.
went
Yeah.
there on her own, and so she was able to leave.
Well,
Yeah, as she should.
Okay.
So yes,
Yeah.
I would agree with all those things you just said. There's somebody out there for him.
All right. You ready
Mhm.
for another one?
I think we are.
All right.
Thank you for that
Got
one.
set
I
up
it's
with
fine. That
angry
was,
guy.
that was fine.
Got set up with angry guy.
Mm.
Backseat gross out, or Jenga, a fort, and his parents.
I feel like we gotta do the angry guy. I've just
Mhm.
been wondering, like,
Been sitting out there.
who'll
Hasn't
be
been.
angry like on a date?
on a first date. Yeah,
Okay.
let's hear it.
So here we go. These setup ones are not so good, are they?
Mhm.
One of my neighbors texted me and told me she wanted to set me up with her nephew.
Yeah, man, these setups don't go well, do they?
I was a little
Well,
bit
she got a free
hesitant.
Coke on the other one. I mean,
Okay,
you know,
okay.
it's got to be worth it for that.
And
you
some
know.
wizarding information. I fail to see how terrible that date was. Sorry,
So
continue.
fair.
Okay, let's step back into Tom's now. Go
Sorry,
ahead,
Tom.
Tom.
Back to
As you were
angry guy.
saying, we've moved on to angry guy.
Yeah.
One of my neighbors texted me and told me she wanted to set me up with her nephew. I was a little bit hesitant because we had gone to the same high school and I kind of knew him. I ended up agreeing and going on the date for her, which is always a bad reason to go on a
Yeah.
date. Anyway, leading up to the date, he sent me lots of voice memos and was telling me he wanted to go on a walk and get some hot chocolate. There you go.
Okay.
Interesting choice, but I agreed. It must have been summer.
I'm like, interesting
He
choice.
came,
Sounds
he
pretty
came
normal
and
to me.
picked me up, and he was like, okay, let's go get a treat, and then I have some fun ideas for us. So he
So
kind of
far, so
changed.
good.
He changed here midstream. I was like, okay. And we went and got a treat. And while eating, he told me that he had anger issues and that he had just punched his manager of his job in the face.
Oh my
Mm.
goodness.
Mm.
I was too stunned to speak. I
Mm.
couldn't believe he was telling me about his anger issues.
Yeah, I wouldn't lead with that.
On the first
for
date,
sure.
yeah.
That's bold.
So we finished eating, and he says, I'm taking you to Barnes & Noble, and we were going to find our favorite children's book and read them to each other. She
Huh,
says,
that's not
okay,
bad.
some people that I've talked to think it's cute idea, but imagine sitting across on the ground reading a children's book to a man who just told me that he punched his manager in the face.
Yeah,
It
that
was
does
not
kinda-
cute, and to top it off, when we got back in the car, he tried to slide across the hood and slid off onto his butt.
Oh,
Tough.
wow.
It wasn't fun, and I have never contacted him again.
Oh man, that's
Wow.
You know that
tough.
slide across the
Yes,
hood, and
yeah.
then yeah.
Well, this is this that was not a good date. It didn't go well.
Yeah.
But this guy had a really bad day, didn't he? He punched his
Yeah.
manager in
Poor
the
guy.
face. He
Fell on his
fell
butt.
on his rear, and he got rejected by this girl.
Yeah, that
Oh,
wasn't a great
you think
day
he
for that
had?
guy.
You think he had anger issues before this? You know.
Yeah, that's true. I'm the bad for his next manager after the date. That's
Mhm.
tough.
I feel bad that in general.
about
Yeah,
this? What
just
about-
in general.
What about this going to Barnes and Noble and finding your favorite children's book?
That could have been
It's
okay.
got
Sitting-
potential.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that there's a way you could do it. Maybe instead of like, oh, it's like a children's book. It's like, okay, let me learn a little bit about you, and then let me go find a book that represents
Yeah.
you, or something like that.
Or
Could-
if you've been dating someone for a really long time, I feel like that would be cute.
Yeah,
Because
that'd
then
be
you're like
fun.
learning about their childhood. Or if
Yeah.
you wanted to go get your favorite children's book and go give it to like a book drive or kid.
Yeah.
Something. But just sitting and reading like what's where the wild things are, making eye contact with somebody. I feel like that's weird. I
Yeah.
feel like it would be cute for 2 minutes.
But this wasn't necessarily a really bad date. This was just kind of a bad guy. Somebody who
Mhm.
punches
Not a
their
good
manager in the
match.
face.
Yeah.
You
I
know
would,
that.
I would
Yeah.
imagine it would be a very uncomfortable date.
Well, yeah, because he punched the manager in the face, and you take that part out, and it's not too bad. But
At least it wasn't a chapter book.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
That's
and now page 341.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to
That's-
throw 3 more out here.
Okay.
All right. Backseat gross out, Jenga, a fort, and his parents, or taco, roller skating, and silence.
That last one, I feel like I know where it's going. So I feel
See, backseat gross out. Just that's got to be something.
Just
bad.
sounds gross.
Bob's been wanting to do
Yeah.
that one. We got to
Yeah.
do
Yeah.
that
Well,
one.
it's got the word gross out
It's
in it.
got to
man.
be
It's
bad.
just
It's got to be
true.
bad.
I don't know if I can handle
I
I
it.
don't
can
know
have
if- I
gross
didn't know-
out in there.
I gotta say that
This
before
is-
we even get started, if the car's already gross, I'm already out. It's so
I don't know if this is a. I don't know. Well, I'll read this and let you know. But all right, here we go. It was my freshman year in college, and I met this guy at a steak family home evening. We talked about going on a date for the next week and decided to go on a hike. These always start out bad, don't they?
Hiking
Go on a hike.
is always bad.
But I didn't know him very well, so I asked him if we could bring a friend. And if he could bring a friend, and then we would make it a
It's a good
double date.
good
He said
idea.
yes.
Yep,
Yeah,
better.
good
That's
idea.
better. That's better.
Okay. But when he picked me up on the date, we noticed that he was alone, which left my friend, whom I had brought along, the third wheel on our
Ah.
date.
What?
That's awful. That happened to my roommate a couple weeks ago. They planned a double date, and he just picked her up and said, "Oh, my friend did end up coming," and so her friend just third wheeled, and she didn't even like him in the first place. It was
Oh.
awful.
Brutal.
Oh,
Yeah.
sad.
Brutal.
Oh, terrible. Communication
she's-
is key.
So
Yeah,
she
there you go.
says, I jumped in the front seat, and my friend got in the back seat, and when she got, I heard her go, "Ooh." I had no idea why she was making that sound. We started hiking, and because he was very tall and my friend and I were kind of short, he was hiking about 10 yards ahead of us.
They always do that on
Always
those dates.
Do that.
Oh my god.
That's one of my
God.
biggest pet peeves. They're like, "Let's go on a hike. Watch how fast I can run up." a thing."
Literally, I'm like, guys, I'm like,
Yeah.
and they're like way up there. They're long
And you're like,
legs.
do you
I'm
want
like,
some?
oh.
Do you want a
So-
medal and
so
applause
you-
for how fast you can walk?
I'm like, because you're
No.
making this date actually really not enjoyable.
Yeah. Did you want to talk to me at all? No.
So would you prefer if he said you lead?
Yes, for sure.
You go first?
Yeah,
That
or
would be
just walk at the same pace. It's not that hard
Mhm.
to just
It's
take a
not
slow
that
pace.
hard, especially if you're on a
Enjoy
date.
it. It's better just to not make it all the way through the hike and have a genuine conversation, turn back around. Also, like, walking fast is not impressive. Like,
No.
pickleball,
No.
at least you're like, wow, he's good at pickleball. Like, even if he, like,
Mm.
doesn't play with you very well. But if you're like, wow, he's such a fast hiker, like,
Hey,
that's not...
I've never
Mhm.
ever thought that. I'm
No,
like,
it's
that's
not an attractive
annoying.
quality. Just slow
There
down.
you
and
go,
talk to your
guys.
date.
Yeah.
There you go. I don't think we need to read the rest of the story.
Yeah,
I think we
yeah.
do.
We've gotten everything we want to know out of that one.
Mhm.
Continue.
So she says, I felt like I was on a date with my friend more than I was this guy, the one that actually asked me out. He ended up that it was going so fast that I could hardly see him anymore. And then she says,
What?
thank goodness I was on the trail with my friend before I got lost and didn't know where I was going.
No.
He was waiting for us at the mountaintop, and so we looked at the view together, and
What
then
a
we
great
headed back.
date.
And of course, it was the same thing going down as it was up. I
What?
lost sight of him.
What?
When we made it back to the car, he suggested we get a smoothie or some ice cream. Again, my friend moaned when she got into the back seat. I thought that was weird. We got to the ice cream place, and I paid for my friend's ice cream, which is
What?
okay since I brought her along.
Okay.
And he paid
Good
for his
preference.
own,
That's good.
and I am paying for my own.
Oh, okay.
dear.
Yeah.
Okay, if at any point in the date you can't see your date and don't know where they are, or they're paying for their own food and you haven't talked about it, just like pause and think
Mhm.
about your life for a couple of seconds and reevaluate why you're on a date.
Mhm.
Anyways, that's all.
So then she says, when he dropped me and my friend off at my house, I asked my friend what was all the grimacing in the back seat. And she told me it was like walking into a hoarder's house.
Oh,
She
gosh.
said the back seat was absolutely filthy with trash and garbage all over the seat, and that the trash was stacked up so high on the floor she barely had room to put her feet.
Oh, gosh.
She even said that there was open containers of half-eaten food all over the back seat.
Oh, leftovers.
I told her that the front seat was quite clean.
Mm.
We both laughed, and we were grossed out all at the same
Oh
time.
my
Mm.
God.
He called and asked if we go on a second date because he felt like it wasn't a real first date.
I
That's
wonder
I
his
told
why.
fault. That
Yeah.
is his fault.
I told him that I wanted to be friends, and I never heard from him again.
Yeah.
Thank goodness.
Ooh,
Thank
oh
goodness
my
for that.
gosh. One time I got in a guy's car and there were too many antlers and pocket knives to sit down.
What?
Yep.
Wow.
What in
Yep.
the world?
And he said it was a group date and it
Wow.
was not. It was just us. And there was it was the one where there was a picture of Jesus taped on the air conditioning.
Oh
Wow.
yeah.
It was anyways.
So Jesus, antlers, and,
and
pocket knives.
And the
Dude.
thing is, my family's pretty redneck. It's not like I get disgusted by antlers or anything.
But so many that you couldn't sit
But
down.
like, first of all, just clean them out of your car before you go on a date. That's just a little bit weird. And then second of all, yeah, there's so many and pocket knives. It's like a
Yeah.
little concerning, honestly. Yeah.
Okay, what is it? I feel like if a guy doesn't keep their car clean, it's very telling about what their apartment or their room
Yeah.
looks like, or
Mhm.
what
Or-
maybe
or
your
their
house
life,
is gonna
right,
look. Yeah,
you
or
know.
their life. Yeah.
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 I'm like, guys, I
When I-
hate getting back in a car that's gross, so I try to
Yeah.
keep it as clean as possible.
And I can tell you guys, most of the time, a guy will obsess over his car and how clean it is, especially when he's going on a date. He'll
I have
usually
noticed that. Usually
take
it's
it and
pretty
wash
good
it, and he'll
experience.
vacuum it out and wipe it down.
Well,
before he puts the
this is
date in the
obviously
car.
what happened here is he took all the garbage that was in the passenger seat and he threw it in the back.
That's probably fair too.
Mm.
Yeah, that's fair.
So he cleaned it
Well,
out
but
for
he
her.
knew that it was supposed to be a group date. And
Well,
she was
but
bringing
Probably
a friend.
forgot.
So
But I think he thought maybe his friend was going to come and bring his car and take her. So he didn't think this through. He was just in a rush to clean out the front seat and threw all this. But still, even then, I mean, it's just,
It's
you know,
just
Yeah.
who lives their
gross.
life like that, you know?
That's-
Apparently tall, fast hikers.
There you go. Yeah.
So, ladies, if there's any tall, fast hikers out there, stay away
Stay
because their
away.
car is
Stay
going to be
away.
gross.
Gonna be so gross. It's gonna be so gross.
Ooh.
all right,
He
let's
just needs
do a
dog. He
couple
doesn't
more.
need a date. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Jenga, a fort, and his parents. Tacos, roller skating, and silence. Not romantic, but he tried.
Oh.
That one's maybe not
Sophie,
so.
you pick. It's your turn.
Maybe that's not
No,
so
I chose
bad.
the wizard one. It's your turn.
It's your turn.
Okay, fine. I pick not romantic, but he tried.
Ah, okay. I don't know that this is such a bad day. We'll see. All right. Everything that could go wrong went wrong. He
Mm.
took me to an aquarium on the other side of the city,
Wrong.
but the tank.
That's so
What was he
cute.
thinking?
That was awful.
That's
It's
such a sweet
terrible.
date. Okay, for the record, everyone, that is a great date.
That
I
is a
think
great
that would
date.
be
I don't-
so
Well,
fun.
if the aquarium was on this side of the city, but on the other side of the city? Come on.
Okay, yeah.
All right,
well,
I said I didn't think this was a real bad date.
okay.
Well, we'll make it
well,
bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't
We'll
be
find things
deceived,
to pick
everyone. That's a
apart.
great date.
So he took me to the aquarium on the other side of the city, but the tanks were dirty. And it was just an awful, awful aquarium.
An aquarium or a pet store?
Yeah, what are we looking at here?
So
I've
then
gone
he-
to both, actually. Fun,
Really?
both times. Because
Okay,
it's like a pet store's been
I'm pretty sure I said aquarium. I'm just reading here.
No. But I'm just
Well, no,
saying
we're
that's another fun
speculating.
date idea. If you go to the pet store, 'cause
Yeah,
it's like a
that is
mini
fun.
zoo.
As
That's
long
fair.
as
Free.
the tanks aren't
Fair.
dirty.
I've done that multiple times. Super fun. Anyway.
All right. So this was just an awful aquarium. Then he wanted to be romantic, so he took me on the river walk that went through the city, except it was cold and rainy. We ended up sitting in a tunnel, shivering, and waiting an
Oh.
hour for the next bus.
No.
Then he
This is
couldn't
just
remember the
like
way
a-
home, and we got lost on the bus system for another hour
That's
before finding the
awful.
subway and making it home.
Oh.
To top it off, the dinner that we ate gave me food poisoning.
No. Okay.
Oh.
This date.
She said, bless his heart, he tried so hard, but it
Mhm.
was awful.
I have to say, as a girl that's always cold, as I'm wearing a puffy jacket inside,
Yeah.
this date actually sounds awful.
Yeah.
Because one time I went up to do an interview in Salt Lake and it was literally blizzarding. So I took
Mhm.
the train up there because I was like, there's no way I'm driving on
Right.
the highway. And so I took the train tracks. On the way back, I like missed the train by just like a couple
Mm.
minutes. And I was like walking around, but prior to that, because I couldn't find the train. Then I got on the wrong train. Then I sit at the train station by myself for like another hour, and I didn't
Mhm.
have any good jacket. I'm shivering out there. And it's like this gives me the same vibes of that as this date does, and
Yeah.
it just like brings me. I'm like, oh, that sounds awful.
Oh,
That
poor
sounds
guy.
awful.
Like your worst experience turned into a
Like-
date.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Where it's like, okay, we're both just trying to stay
Mhm.
warm, and that's just.
Well, this
yeah.
this probably was miserable for both of them because he probably noticed that the tanks were dirty as well,
Well,
and he didn't really have
He was
control
probably
over that.
embarrassed through this whole thing, too.
Well, and he got lost,
Yeah.
and so this was a bad.
It's
You
always
can-
good
and
to
you
have
can
a
see in New York
contingency
where you could get on
plan.
the wrong buses or the wrong
Yeah,
subway
it's
and end
easy
up
to
somewhere
do.
where you.
And, yeah.
Okay,
For them.
you ready for 3 more?
Yes.
Yes.
Jenga, a fort, and his parents. Taco, roller skating, and silence. And then the not a date.
Tom, why don't you pick one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which one
No,
do you think is the
I'm the
best?
host here. I'm throwing
Okay.
these
Does that
out
make you in charge?
because I've read them all. So
Mhm.
you
Okay,
you
let's go with
decide.
Jenga. Let's do the Jenga thing. And
Okay.
Going with Jenga. I
Tell me
had
anything.
just gotten out of a long relationship and I decided I need to put myself out there instead of sitting home alone.
Love
I like
it.
this.
Mhm.
I like this.
Good
Yeah.
start. Good start.
So rather than being sad and feeling sorry for myself, I
Mhm.
tried to be open to any date opportunities that might come along no matter what.
sure.
Great.
A friend decided to
Mindset.
set me up. Here we go. Another setup. Here we
Mhm.
go. Set me up with a guy named Jake who seemed nice enough.
Jake.
Oh, the Jakes.
The most basic pro name I've ever
He
met.
picked me up and we went to his house to play games. He recommended we play what he called Truth or Dare Jenga.
Okay.
Yeah, I've heard of this.
Okay.
Never heard of it.
He had written truths and dares on each Jenga piece.
Mhm.
So as you pulled out a piece, it was either a truth piece where you would have to answer a question or a dare piece that included a dare the other person would have to complete. Some of the dares were really strange, like swap an article of clothing with each other, serenade the other person, or blow raspberries on the person's stomach.
What? That's weird.
Ooh,
understand
2
that
of the
one, but
3 of
okay.
those are just
Yeah.
non-starters.
Yeah.
I felt so uncomfortable and tried to do my best to get out of having to do any of those. And she said I got out of playing most of the game, but Jake did, however, serenade me with a song that he'd made up on the spot.
That'd be funny.
Oh.
After the Jenga game, we drove up the canyon and Jake parked the car at the top. And we
Dear.
played slow songs from his car, and we got out, and he made slow dance moves with me. Once again, I was feeling so uncomfortable. This is a date she got set up on, right?
First date.
I
First
think,
date,
again,
yeah.
I think there's another rule here is that don't drive up in the canyon.
Yeah.
Period.
Right, okay. So I was feeling so uncomfortable, but I tried my best to make an excuse to leave. Once we finally left the canyon, Jake took me back to his house. This time his parents were home, so he must have been living at home.
What? This is a long date.
This is,
Mhm.
he agreed, and we should not do these on setup dates either. He
Mhm.
told me that he had built a fort in the basement and that we should watch a movie down there.
Oh gosh.
Inside the fort?
Yeah, I was already annoyed and did not want to have to watch a full movie with Jake.
Yeah.
The date had already been going for several hours, and all I wanted to do was go home. And we've heard that a lot too.
Yes.
Okay. However, I decided to be nice and I agreed to watch some silly movie.
What?
Ready for the plot twist?
A plot twist this far into it?
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
huh?
I mean,
Here
are
we
you
go.
okay? Yeah.
Jake
it
invited
a
his
good date?
parents into the fort to watch
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, at least he's not gonna pull anything. I don't know. At this point,
She
maybe
said
I'd
all
want his parents with it.
she said I was dying and all I wanted to do was go home. I sat in the fort with my legs and arms crossed and waited until the movie was over. After it finished, Jake asked me if I wanted to go get a treat.
What?
She said I finally just told him to take me home, and he agreed.
Oh my
Okay.
goodness. When did this date start? And when did this date end?
Yeah. Oh my god.
It's
Because-
a long date.
okay.
Because the movie had to be about an hour, hour and a half.
And
Yeah.
we see this
So-
happen so many times where
So then the drive up the canyon had to be
They-
at least an hour.
At least, yeah.
And then the Jenga game maybe. So this is like a 3.5 hour,
four.
If not more.
if not more
Bless your
event.
heart.
I have to say, this date had a lot of potential
Mm-hmm.
if it was somebody that you liked.
Right.
Mhm.
Because I think a lot of things he did were kind of normal, but I think because she wasn't interested, it made everything really bad.
well, it was
because,
a set up on a kind of a blind date.
Totally.
Right.
Like, I could see, like, playing Jenga Truth or Dare to be totally fun.
Yeah.
And then maybe, like, I think it could be cute. Maybe if you're dating them, you're, like, slow dancing. But she's like, I barely know this guy. And I'm like,
Right.
yeah, I would feel
Yeah.
the same way. And then, oh, let's watch a movie in a fort. That's a cute idea. But except the part that you invite your parents. But, like, for the most part, he had a good idea. It just, she wasn't
Bad
good.
execution.
Yeah.
none of it
don't
was
read
really
social
first date
cues.
material.
It wasn't first date material.
Yeah.
Especially blind date material.
Yeah.
If she mentions going home, then just bring her home.
Yeah.
For heaven's sake, please.
Also,
Just-
I
Well-
think we should clarify here. She should have said something earlier.
She should
Yeah,
have.
she
Like
should've.
on the way up the canyon, she should have said, this isn't working
Yeah.
out. Please take me home.
Like, I got homework to do. Like, some excuse. Get yourself out of there. You need to
Yeah.
learn. To
That's why
communicate
you
for
always have a
yourself, you know?
friend that calls you and is like,
I've got
"Hey,
the
I need you
stomach
to
flu.
come help me, bring me to the hospital or something." And you're like,
Yeah.
"I am so sorry." I've done that once, and they still didn't take me home.
Really?
What?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
saw through it.
I had my roommate call me, and we were up the canyon, but I hadn't met him before, so it wasn't like some random person. But yeah, we went up the canyon, and it was so bad. And he kept trying to sit next to me, and it was at the Sundance like round fire pit. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So it was like we were sitting, and he kept scooting next to me, and we went all the way around the fire pit because I kept scooting away, and he kept scooting next to me. And we went all the way around, and I had my
No.
roommate call me and tell me that she needed me to come and give her a ride somewhere, and he was like, "Oh, okay," and then proceeded to like show me the song that he wrote or something, and I was like, "Did you hear me the first time?"
Mm.
The songwriter.
It was so bad. Yeah.
Well, you need to write that up and
One-
send it in.
How many times
Yeah.
have we
What would the
heard-
headline would you put on that?
Oh,
Ring around the fire pit?
Yeah, ring around the fire pit. Yeah,
That's a good headline.
it was bad.
How many times have we heard where girls get stuck on these really long dates?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
boys just don't do that.
Mm.
All right, we have time for one more.
Okay.
All right. So, taco, roller skating in silence, the not a date, or froyo, COVID, and the guy in the suit.
Okay, you need to pick the best one out of those three, Tom. Because
You have read them, and so of those, which one is going to be the most entertaining?
You know what, guys? They're all about the same. So you're going to
We're
have
the
to
shortest
pick.
because we're running out of time.
Oh, we're
Yeah.
running out of time. All
Yeah.
right. So,
The one with the happy ending. Oh, no,
Ooh.
that's...
we don't want to get. We
Where
don't
she
want a
gets
happy
home
ending.
the
No.
fastest.
all right. Tacos, roller skating, and silence.
Let's do it.
Okay, so in my freshman year of college,
It's always the freshman
always the
year.
freshman year.
Yeah.
It's always the freshman
You don't know
year.
how to say no. You gotta
because the
learn.
young women get smarter as they go.
Yeah.
I went out with this guy named Steve.
Mm.
He was
Not
a
a bad
very
name.
distant family friend. Our families knew each other,
Okay.
and I didn't know him very well.
Mhm.
He picked me up for the date and didn't warn me
Mm-hmm.
was a double date with his
Communication.
married best friend.
Oh.
So I was fourth wheeling the whole time. Oh, he also honked for me to come outside when
No.
he pulled up,
I hate that.
which really bugged me.
I hate
Yeah,
that.
that's annoying.
No.
Yeah.
That's such a
Well, how
California
would you
thing
know to
do.
come out if you
If,
didn't knock?
Walk up to the
Oh,
door,
will
Bob.
They
I will tell
always,
you.
guys in California always just text like here when they're like at the corner. They won't even drive up in front of your house. They just like are at
But
the
do
corner.
they slow down and you just have to jump in the car? with them?
Yeah, well, they're
I'm
like
right here, I'm right
that.
here.
Yeah, you're like, did you want me to come? Or
I would just say this, that if a boy does that, don't go out. Make
Well,
him come up to the door. He's got to
Unless
be.
he's really
got to
cute.
be a gentleman. I just can't think Candlin would have ever accepted that as a.
I wonder what Candlin would have done. I wish I
Yeah.
could have like a little like Jiminy Cricket Candlin.
Mm-hmm.
What
All
would
the time.
Candlin do?
What would
Candlin
do?
WWCD.
Yeah.
What would Candlin do?
literally, yeah.
Here, right.
Anyway, we went to the taco place, and he ordered in Spanish.
Ooh,
I think
now
he
that's
thought he would
impressive.
really impress me.
No, that's such an egg.
We sit down,
Oh,
and
no,
as a
no.
typical fourth wheel, I was left out of the conversation as they talked and laughed about their friends and the things they'd done together. He didn't speak to me the entire night. He was only talking to them. In
In
all
Spanish?
fairness, his friend's wife did talk to me a little. I think she could tell I was being left out and a little frustrated.
Oh, yeah.
After we ate tacos, we went to a roller skating rink. I was a little nervous because I'm not a very good roller skater. Again, this happens a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it does.
no.
It's roller skating and ice skating for me. They're really
Yeah.
similar.
I was going slow and kind of wobbly. And so instead of holding my hand to help me, I mean, why would you hold my hand? He hadn't even talked to me all night. He grabbed me by my wrist and started leading me around the skating rink. I was really uncomfortable and felt like everyone was looking at us, watching this guy holding me by the wrist.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
Mm.
Then, of course, every once in a while, I would fall, and all he would do is stand over me and laugh. Needless to say, I wasn't laughing.
Oh,
He wouldn't even help me back up. I had to go on a death grip to the wall to get back up on my skates.
This poor girl.
When I finally sat down, all I could think about was that my knees and my butt hurt, and I wanted to go home.
Oh, she's subject
this
to
night is
a
making me
compensation.
so sad.
After the whole awkward date of not talking, fourth wheeling, falling on my butt, he tried to kiss me goodnight.
No, what?
No.
That I did not see that coming. I did not
he was
see
just
that
See
coming.
he was just
there.
kissing her goodbye.
Yeah, I
That's all
moved
he-
away from that kiss and gave him a kind of side hug in the car because, of course, he didn't walk me back up to my door.
Of course not.
I even got a text message from him saying what a great time he'd had and hoped that we could go out on another date. I never responded to that text.
Yeah, that was-
honestly
he's like,
warranted.
I had so much fun with myself. That I
Yeah.
was myself. That's basically what he said.
Yeah.
So ladies, what do we learn from all this?
We
Where do
learned
you start on that? I
setups
mean,
are they're just not the move. I've
Not
never
the
been on a
move.
setup that was actually no once. Once it was good.
okay.
But
So-
other than that,
Here's the advice, girls. Don't go on a setup date with a guy named Jake or Steve who's tall and hikes fast and has a messy car.
there you go.
There's the 5 points.
There you
of
go.
yeah,
dating
that's
etiquette right
perfect.
There you
Yes.
go. Well,
Rules to
That's
live by.
about
that's
it,
kind of
yeah.
sad.
Write that down,
I-
guys.
Mhm.
I think what I'm going to do is on our website, I'm going to put up bad date stories. We try to
Yeah.
stick some of them up on our Instagram,
Mm.
but you can go check out our Instagram page, the Dating Made Simple Instagram, and we do
Please
put
do.
some bad dating stories up there, and you guys seem to like those. So make sure when you read them to comment
Mhm.
on them. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And I also have something up on our Instagram where I'm encouraging people to send us their bad date stories. So
Yes.
hopefully they'll start doing that soon.
Because we need to do episode 5 at some
Yeah.
Soon, it's coming.
And then we'll
Now-
get crazier and crazier
Yes,
stories.
yeah.
I did
Yeah.
mention the website that is datingmadesimpleijd.com, which IJD is It's Just Dinner.
Yeah.
And so lots of fun stuff up there, especially we've got a whole thing about our guests. So we've got
Go
a little
check them out,
bio
they're
and picture
cool.
of every one of our guests. And it is really just a Macy Hall of Fame there. So to all the
don't
great
mind
guests
saying
that
that.
she's gotten for us over the last couple of years. So, well, thank you guys for indulging me
Thank
with
you.
bad date stories.
Thanks for all those bad dates. That was
Quite fun. So hopefully
Wonderful.
we've all learned something, and you guys out there, hopefully you've learned that some things not to do. And guys, I think what I've learned from all this is just really appreciate the young woman and put her ahead of you, and don't do anything that would make her uncomfortable. Do we all agree with that?
Yeah,
Yes.
totally.
Amen.
Also, don't invite your parents to the movie.
Yeah.
And sit in a fort.
Or sit in a
Nope.
fort.
Nope.
All right. Well, thank you all for being here. And listen, you guys out there, just go have fun out there, would you?